I'm at Supercharger, North Charleston. There's this myth about home charging that drives me insane. People are like, well, I want to buy a Tesla, but there's not enough charging. So my home charger is broken right now, which really sucks. But here's a funny story. I actually have an electrician. It's only been broken for a couple of days. And I bought a new one anyway a while ago. So I have an electrician who's coming over today to fix it. So for the last couple of days, I have been just plugged in to my old Trickle 110 charger at home. Now, I do a lot of driving. Yesterday, I had a 4-hour round trip. So I went to this Supercharger, North Charleston, last night. Yesterday, the night before last, and plugged in, filled it up. And today I've got to do a long trip as well. But last night, overnight, I just plugged into the little 110 outlet. I got 69 miles, odd number, but it's true. I got 69 miles in the car by just plugging into a 110 outlet. Now, you're sitting there laughing going, okay, 69 miles, that's not very much. No, it's not. But guess what? You know, to a lot of people, and I don't know what segment of the population, but to a lot of people, that's probably enough. You know, a lot of people get up in the morning, they drive to work. You know, I know some of the comments you're going to say, oh, I have an hour and a half commute, or I have to drive 75 miles one way, or whatever. I get it. But there are a large segment of the population who don't need to drive that far. So 69 miles, let's call it 70. That's 35 miles each way. Now, let's say you drive 10 miles to work, or 15 miles to work, or even 20 miles to work. And then you have to drop your kids off at school, or then when you come home, you have to go to the store, or even while you're at work, you got to go to lunch, blah, 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 blah. That's enough for a lot of people. So you'll often hear stories where people are like, well, I live in an apartment building, or I live here, or I live there, or I live in a regular apartment. My landlord won't put in a charging port, or, you know, I don't want to put a charger in at my house, or whatever. Come up with all the excuses you want. All you need is a 110 charger. Okay, that's all you need. And anyway, that's what the video is about. So you can move on from there, because the next thing I want to talk about in this video is the gentleman I just met at the Supercharger there. He has he pulls up in a Model 3. It's a 2023 Model 3. And he looks very confused, and he's plugged in, and then he's like, and I don't bother people unless they want to talk. And he says, I got a question for you. He goes, place I'm staying at, I plugged this in last night, and it was only plugged in for about an hour, but I only got like 3 miles or 4. And then I went through the whole thing. He's like, I've never done this before. I don't know anything about these things, and I rented this. We're here from Arizona. So he's telling me, he says, my wife is a big, huge Elon fan, and she wants me to buy a Tesla, and blah, 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 blah. And anyway, that was music to my ears. Well, I proceeded to give this guy a great education on owning a Tesla. Now, I was honest with him, and I said, because he made the comment, he goes, it's kind of hard to get in and out of this thing. I said I had a Model 3. I said, when I first bought my first Tesla in 2022, I should have bought the Model Y. But I bought the Model 3. And there's nothing wrong with the Model 3. But if you're a big guy, and obviously I'm a big guy, and he's not as big as me, but he's a pretty big guy, you definitely want to be just a little higher off the ground. And that's the nice thing about the Model Y. But anyway, I said to him, go for the Model Y. I said and I actually told him the Model Y standard is perfectly fine. I have a Juniper. I love it. I would love to have a performance also, but I'm telling you right now, the Model Y standard is a beautiful car. You don't get the light bar across the front. You don't get the reflective one in the back. But apart from that, there's not a whole hell of a lot of difference. It's I think it's a lot of car and value for money. And then I explained to him, I sent him my referral code. I said, look, if you have a friend, or if your wife has a friend who has a Tesla, they have a referral code. Use the referral code. You'll get a bigger discount on the car, and they'll give you $500 or whatever it is, so you can buy merchandise, or you can buy some stuff on the Tesla shop for your car when you get it. Or sorry, you'll get the discount, but your friend or whoever he or she is, they'll get some merchandise. Anyway, the reason I bring that up is there is a link in my description for my Tesla referral code, which you can use. I don't want to sound like I'm selling you a Tesla, but I am selling you a Tesla. I think everybody should own one. And then he does have full self-driving in his Tesla, but he's got a 23. So he's got 13, what was that, 13.9? Tell me in the comments, I can't remember. My 2022, I think the last update I had was 13.9. But, and he's like, yeah, it's really cool and it's really great, but it doesn't do this. And I said, well, yeah. I said, I think it's fantastic, and I would be fine with 13.9. I said, but, you know, I have 14.3.1. It's definitely a different world. But anyway, don't let charging your car stop you from buying a Tesla. And unfortunately, nobody is learning this if you're watching these videos, because you're already a Tesla fan, and that's why you're following my channel. By the way, if you're not following my channel and if you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button right now. That would really help me out a lot. But you know, you will have conversations with people, and the first thing they bring up is, well, there's nowhere to charge. And it's a myth. It's a total myth. And the worst case scenario, look at the mileage you do every day, the average mileage you do. Most people, I'm going to tell you, I won't say most, that's not fair, but there is a large percentage of the population who really don't drive more than 60, 70 miles a day. You can literally plug into a 110 outlet when you come home while you're sleeping, and it's also cheaper to charge overnight. I do that. I charge between 1 and 5 a.m. With my home charger. You won't get much juice between 1 and 5 a.m. with your little trickle 110 charger. But anyway, I hope you liked the video. Thanks for coming back always. And like I said, like, subscribe, and share. And get yourself a Tesla. You will not regret it. I promise you that. Thanks for watching.